Actually, we are in the area of Old Cairo, which is also the Fustat, the first ever established Islamic capital in Egypt, and one of the oldest areas in the city. And today we have talked about the exhibitions that are taking place, whether in Egypt or as a temporary exhibitions here. We've discussed some of the aspects of the National Museum of Egyptian civilization, and now we will be talking about some of the important aspects of it, which is the scientific research, the restorations, the galleries and the magazines inside it, and so much more. And that's with Dr. Badawy Ismail, and he is the consultant of the special works at the museum. Good afternoon, Doctor.
Dr. Badawy, thank you very much for being with us today on my cruise. If we can speak about the venue that we are located in today at the National Museum of the Egyptian Civilization, in your opinion, what is the importance of such a museum?
Such a museum is a large museum as a surface museum for each archaeological sites in Egypt and African and Arabian countries here. Also, we have a research center can use in education and technology and research of all stuff in Egypt and Arabian and African countries.
Well,
this is the plan of UNESCO for this museum.
Now, Doctor, actually you're responsible for a lot of magazines and departments, but let me first start by the conservation, because once the artifacts comes from the different museums, definitely that will be the first thing that it will enter your department to be looked at, to see its quality, to restore it. So tell us more, first, how many pieces have reached you so far and what's going on?
Yeah. Firstly, there is a new concept here in this museum, is a reception artifacts area. Reception artifacts area is a cycle of archaeological sites, archaeological artifacts coming from each site and each museum. When enter to museum to make the area of packing and unpacking, to investigate the artifacts and to taking it in criteria area, and if you have some insects or some biological defects in the archaeological artifacts, to the anoxia, which work by anoxia department here, and this is as firstly programming entered by UNESCO in this museum. At least 100,000 pieces of artifacts can enter to this museum.
Yes, so 100,000 artifacts would be exhibited here in the National Museum of the Egyptian Civilization. So what is the role of the UNESCO, as we heard that it had cooperated with Egypt, the government, and the authority of the NMEC. So what is the role of the UNESCO in restoring the artifacts, to be specific?
Yeah, firstly, there is a campaign for building this museum with the Nubian Museum. Then also there is a committee of supervising about from different countries, members of UNESCO. The role of UNESCO here is technical advice and technical service to our museum in training and planning and strategy of of the work, and the strategy of conservation, strategy of research work, and also strategy of excavation. Also, there is a technical advice by UNESCO office here in Egypt.
Well, Doctor, now for the restored artifacts, how many have you restored so far?
Yeah, we have a large storage area in maybe in the world here. There is at least 12 storage magazine here, classified by type of artifacts. There is a stone magazine here for large pieces, and another for small pieces. There is another magazine for metals and glass, and also for pottery and ceramic. And storage also for papyrus, storage for textile, storage for wood, storage for mummies, storage for human remains. All of this storage area for manuscripts, for graphics, for painting. All this divided by the material of artifacts. There is also another system for storage for culture heritage artifacts. So 100 for modern historical from 100 from now.
So we have about 12 different storing places here in the National Museum of the Egyptian Civilization to be dealing with wood, with papyrus, with stone, large stones, small stones.
Oh, yeah, small stone and large stones.
Yeah, so what is the difference when you come to deal with these things? What is the difference? What is the process of dealing with every material?
Yeah, we divided it into different materials for flighting system, for an organic material by fuming gas, energy gas, and for inorganic materials, a flighting system, firing system by water mist system.
Yes.
And the gas for organic material. It is help us to use the modern technology, especially in storage system and humidity, because you know organic material is more sensitive for humidity and dust. All of this can controlling by dividing it into different materials.
Now, you told me also before the interview that there is a scientific section. Would you tell us about that part?
Yeah, okay. The planning also advised by UNESCO. You can make a center research system. We divide it in different parts. We have human research center to study the human artifacts, the medical history of this from human artifacts. There is another system, research center for mummies, to study the mummies. We have a lot of mummies in the world, and we can make a website and center, a large center to study the mummies, not here in Egypt, and all of the museum in the world. There is another system for dating. We have two types of dating here, carbon-14 dating, to study organic materials, and another method that is more modern here, this first time to enter to Egypt, is TLD dating, depending on alpha and beta gamma, to study, to take the time of this. We have also biological research center to study the defects of artifacts by insects and by bacteria and fungi, and we can decided the best ways to study biocides to detect, to monitoring these artifacts. We have also research another system for material science. You know that the artifacts is a material. You know that stones and pottery and ceramic and glass and so on. This is material science. We have different instruments to study the material science to help the conservator to make the plan for conservation.
Yes, Dr. Badawy, you mentioned that the research center is dealing with the mummies and the mummification process. So what is the latest that you can update us with regarding such a process?
Yeah, here there is, firstly we're beginning to make X-ray radiography to see the mummies inside, because without no destruction or destruction to the material. There is a DNA dating, DNA research to study the families, pharaonic families, the eggs, and you know this. We have two labs here for DNA, one in Egyptian Museum and another in Kasr in the Faculty of Medicine, and the third here in our Civilization Museum to study the DNA more modern by modern technology, by sequencer and different instruments. For mummies research here, not only by we can collect the mummies from different storages in Egypt and put it in here in modern climatology and monitoring system to preserve it to future.
Now, doctor, for the pieces, are there certain pieces which when you restored, when you conserved, when you worked on, you really felt it was interesting to work on and you'd like to talk to us about that particular piece?
Our question, we have a conservation center here.
Yes.
The conservation center depending on the artifacts only, like storage.
Yes.
There is a painting lab or painting workshop to conserve the painting and red material and colors material, papyrus. And there is a large laboratory here or large workshop. It's multi-purpose for large artifacts. There is outdoor workshop to study with the statues and the large pieces. There is laboratory work for wood and textile and the graphics and papyrus and the stone and metal and the ceramic. And
have you started working on any pieces or not yet?
Firstly, there is we have a small lab here now. It's for first aid only. For first aid when to enter some pieces. But maybe within 3 months we can open all of laboratory here and workshop and research center.
Dr. Badawy, when would be the museum be opened for the public and how does this affect your work, the rate of your work?
Our minister, Dr. Anani, planning to open a temporary exhibition here at the end of this month. Firstly, and
so at the end of October.
Yeah, at the end of
That's
October.
about 2 weeks from now. Yes.
And also we can plan it also in 3 months at least to finish research center and also the whole of conservation. And the planning also we have now to make a strategy here to make this as a reserve center or storage center for all of Egypt.
Yes.
We have a modern technology in the storage for firefighting and for condition, for temperature, for humidity, and because we have a suitable climate for all artifacts and also for safety. You know, we have the different problems about the storage in different sites in Egypt. We can solve it by our planning, our strategy, to make this as a central storage for all archaeological sites in Egypt here.
Now, are you giving your staff certain training courses or lectures about how to be able to handle such equipment and such artifacts?
Yeah. Firstly, the technical training from UNESCO, programming for conservation and for research center and for storage and for exhibition. Funding by UNESCO, the first. Another training will make those companies with national defense, because every instrument needs more training, outside and inside. 2 months inside in each instrument, and 3 weeks or one month and outside, especially in high technology instruments like DNA or TLD dating or carbon-14 dating. It is more modern technology here in Egypt. It's very research here in Egypt now, in this museum.
Yes, Dr. Badawy Ismail, the consultant of the specialist museum work. Thank you very much for being with us today on Nile Cruise.
Hope to see you in the opening of our exhibition, temporary exhibition at the end of this month, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And now we will be moving to a report by Dina Houda about Nur wal Amal Light and Hope Orchestra, which was founded by the Egyptian Blind Girls Education, and actually it gives hope to the community, because the girls, we can see them, although despite their disability, yet they are endeavoring into life. They are singing and they are filling Egypt with hope. Now let's enjoy the report with Dina Houda.
Now we're about to watch the true meaning of